Now,
Seen.
for example, I've always, I don't know whether you agree, setuju tak setuju. Ni soal pilihan raya tempatan, local government.
Yeah.
I've always said that kalau kita nak kurangkan rasuah, the rasuah is actually at that level also. In the township, in the big cities, approval for building, approval for development. Then, if you have election, at least kurang-kurangnya ada accountability jugalah orang yang dipilih itu. And not only that, you have more rakyat punya expectation of that area. Apa yang dia nak, apa yang dia tak nak, apartment macam mana dia nak. Tapi alasan yang diberi selalu, we are not ready, we don't want this because perkauman. Kononnya Melayu rugi sebab Melayu is not in town. But Melayu not in town ni zaman dulu. Melayu in town, in KL now, half of KL is Melayu already. And okay, if you don't want to do in KL dulu for whatever racial composition, your racial consideration, buatlah kawasan yang monolitik sikit. Macam di Kelantan. Apa salahnya? Ini 90% Melayu. Apa salahnya buat pilihan raya bandaran di Kelantan, di Kota Baru misalnya, ataupun di Perlis, di Kedah, all these places. Sekurang-kurangnya episod yang berlaku di Selangor sekarang ni, Tuan Syed, you know lah, berebut kursi. UMNO nak berapa? Kalau tak boleh bagi semua, saya tak nak. Jadi yang mementingkan, yang nak kekalkan sistem sekarang ni bukannya orang Melayu atau rakyat, it's the party. Kerana parti yang berebut nak taruh orang dia. Kalau UMNO nak berebut taruh di kawasan-kawasan di Selangor. Kalau PKR pun nak orang dia juga. So actually, when are we talking about the rakyat's interest? No, so itu pun tak transparent, So kalau balik kepada soal perubahan yang kita nak kurangkan all this issue of rasuah lah pada saya. Local government election is very important as kurang-kurangnya, not everywhere. But we start lah dulu di kawasan-kawasan tu, eksperimen dulu. Orang yang dipilih oleh orang kawasan tu mungkin bertanggungjawab untuk menjawab, untuk to be accountable kepada orang kawasan tu. Now, what say you to that?
This issue of maintaining the racial balance, racial harmony ni, it's sensitive, it's difficult lah. But again, I always defer to our neighbours in the south, Singapore. They have this joint representative constituency, kan?
Yes.
Where the constituency must have 3 races.
3 races.
3 wakil rakyat for each kawasan. Each party lah. Calon ni 3 orang. Must be one Chinese, one Indian, one Malay. Join so that 3, of course they win on a joint ticket. So that 3 bersuara lah. So maybe that would help. We have to be creative lah. How to allay the fears of the politicians, fears of the people that one community might dominate, things like that. So we have to do what is suitable for us, which works lah. Within the democratic system, we have to maintain the democratic system that is so important. Going for election, and people's voices heard.
Be accountable, be responsible.
One some people can get up and shout and debate each other. All that is necessary. All necessary. So we have to facilitate it. Kalau we are afraid of being over-dominated by any one race in urban constituencies, make it a JRC. Do something. Or put some quota lah. So that bottom line is, people's voices are heard, especially minority voices are heard, so that nobody bulldozes over somebody else lah.
Okay. Now, I just want to move to another issue. Hari tu, last 2 weeks ago lah, Menteri Besar Terengganu, Dr. Samsuri, the man touted to be the next Prime Minister candidate for the opposition. Ini kata PAS lah. Dalam Facebook dia kata PAS is no longer the old party. It's a new modern party lah katanya. It's a modern party. Jadi saya kalau boleh nak jemput dia datang dialog dengan saya, tapi maklumlah kita orang miskin kecil ni mungkin dia tak datang. Tapi I would like to ask him, can he explain what do you think what do you think he means by PAS is a modern party?
I don't know what he. I think I can guess what he would say lah, because everybody thinks that they are God's gift to mankind, especially parties that use religion. PAS ni is a political party.
Yeah.
I mean, bottom line is political party lah. But to answer the question lah, is PAS modern enough? My view is this is still work in progress lah.
Belum lagi lah.
They are on the way. They have to work harder. Because sekarang ni, what is modern? What do we mean by modern? Anything lah. You take, let's say, education. Let's take health, development, economic development. What is modern? Modern is you have to be up to date with what is happening in our neighboring countries.
Yes.
You know, a lot of us, we don't realize, but there is China now, which is a huge monster. There is another country closer to us, which is going to be a super China. Is Vietnam.
Yeah.
They are advancing so fast. They have 100 million people. And their development is super fast, and you know this education PISA scores, and they're always number 1, number 2, and number 3. You know?
Yeah.
So they are really going all out to modernize basically the economy, social development indexes. This is what they're focusing at. So kita ni, we cannot ignore what is happening in our neighboring countries, because inevitably. You know, you're talking about apa sekarang ni tak ada cukup FDI, peluang pekerjaan tak ada, all this kind of stuff, because the capital flows around the world, they go to all these new places which are more modernized, more efficient, promise better things lah. So if we don't keep up, we fall back. So to answer the question, is PAS modern or not, is PAS aware what is happening in the rest of the world? Sebab kalau nak jadi kerajaan, you're talking about 34 million people whose rezeki and masa depan depends on what is happening in Indonesia, in Thailand, in Vietnam, because they all suck away opportunities from us. We have to compete. Jadi that is the modernization. We have to keep up. Sekarang ni the new sectors, AI, artificial intelligence. In Vietnam, dia mengajar computer software coding for primary school children dah start dah. So are we keeping up with that, you see? So there are various issues, but at the end of the day, to me, to answer the question of is a party or a political organization, are they modern or not, are they keeping up with what is happening in the rest of the world or not, especially our neighbours lah. What I see PAS setakat ni, dia tengok apa UMNO buat. Apa PKR buat, what PN.
Itu low standard lah.
That's it. That seems to be their yardstick.
Yeah.
But yalah, of course, you have to see what are your immediate, yang depan mata political rivals are doing. But what is the larger picture for Malaysia that PAS has? What is their their plans to fast track our economic development, job creation? What is their vision for this country? Bukan saja nak gaduh dengan UMNO ke, dengan PKR ke, dengan lawan-lawan politik ke. Okay, that is a political side lah. But what is the master plan for the people, as you mentioned just now, for the rakyat?
Yeah.
This we do not see yet.
Yeah. And I think what you said about PAS, you could also say the same thing about opposition, don't you think?
Everybody. You have to deliver for the people.
Yeah. So macam bersatu pun, I nampak macam lembab juga. Tak ada coming out with some new plan, new proposal as an opposition. Sebagai parti pembangkang, kita kenalah ada nampak cergas daripada kerajaan. Nampak lebih hebat, nampak lebih mengetahui, nampak lebih prihatin, nampak lebih dynamic. Tapi saya tak nampak daripada opposition.
No, you see, okay, maybe I divert straight into my next topic lah, because it's connected. Until 2018, until BN lost the 2018 elections, the most powerful of influential political players in the country was the political party. Dulu masa zaman UMNO, kita semua UMNO dulu tu.
Saya UMNO lagi, okay.
Apa ni?
Masih UMNO dan kekal UMNO.
Apa ni? What do you call this? A general election is like, it's just a pesta with a rubber stamp lah. Because you know they're going to win anyway.
Yes.
Parliament session tak session pun tak kisah lah. Because the control was absolute. So Parliament, debates in Parliament, the election process, it's just like a rubber stamp. 2018, all that has changed. Now, the most powerful and influential political player in the country is the voter. Who's the voter? 2018, PN lost their government, and Pakatan Harapan, the first one, Dr. Mahathir came in. But even at that time, it was not very strong. It was a coalition. It was a weak coalition. And true enough, 22 months, Dr. Mahathir was replaced lah. Ganti by Tan Sri Mohideen, only lasted over a year. Ismail Sabri also lasted about a year. Meaning that the politicians, the political parties and the administration does not have strong control, strong political power. It is a voter who decides. 2022 it got even worse. The voter gave a hung parliament.
Yeah.
It was a hung parliament.
Yeah.
And it was a really hung parliament because there's no way a single party could have formed the government. At last, yang dulu lawan dengan kawan dengan apa semua kahwin. Not only marriage of convenience, marriage of inconvenience pun ada. Just because otherwise you cannot form the government. So the politics has changed, whereby now the most significant player at long last in Malaysia is the voter. And even if you notice the last the state elections in the 6 states, you see how the margins were reduced for Pakatan Harapan. In many states, even DAP lost a lot of their margins were reduced lah. At the end of the day, now the voter really has the power. But unfortunately, what is happening is the political players, especially the leaders of the political parties, the same people are in power. We have discussed this before. The same faces for the last 20, 30, 40 years. Even kalau kira Tan Sri Lim Kit Siang 50 tahun dah, or even Tun Dr. Mahathir, the same players are still there, but they don't realise that the voter profile has changed. The undi 18 kan?
Undi 18.
Sekarang dah undi dua kali.
18.
Dua kali ya. Dah undi dua kali. These people now, they are the 18s and 20 whatever year old. They have no recollection, of what happened 30 years ago, 40 years ago. Tak ada. They want to see things that to them they read in their Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, the I don't know, the Generation Z or whatever lah. They are the up to date people, and our politicians have lost touch with the new generation.
Yes. I'm sorry to intervene, to interrupt here, Syed, but I understand the power is with the voter, but the voter have no choice. What's given to them, apa yang dihidangkan kepada mereka every election is the same party with the same controlling bloc, same people. And so what do? We don't have macam katalah Indonesia misalnya lah, kalau rakyat tu mau tukar presiden, dia tak perlu bergantung pada parti, dia vote direct, dia boleh undi Joko, dia boleh undi Prabowo, dia boleh undi Ganja, dia boleh whatever. Kita kena undi parti. And yet in our country, the party is controlled by these 3 or 4 people at the top. Kita tahulah siapa kontrol DAP. Yang kontrol UMNO sekarang ni, kita tahulah. Jadi, dan PKR pun sama lah. Jadi, democracy doesn't exist in the parties, really. So, what is the solution?
I still the process is still there. The democratic process is so important. This concept of one man, one vote is absolutely critical. Because even, as I said just now, even now, the largest party has over 40 seats. PAS has a bit more, I think. Nobody has this huge controlling bloc anymore. It has to be coalition lah. Meaning that if a party wants to win big and have, let's say, majority in parliament by themselves, by their own coalition, they have to at last ask the voter, what do you want? To me, from what I see, the parties don't ask the voters, what do you want? Because nothing has been delivered. Manifesto they buat pun they don't deliver. Okay, let me say lah, who likes the tolls? In the beginning, we were okay lah. In the beginning, bila ni buat tol, jalan tol ni, because it was new. Dulu kita tak ada highway. Dulu saya balik Penang 8 jam, tapi bila dah buat highway 3 jam boleh sampai lah. So okay, we are happy with that. And then dia kata okay, tol ni kita kena bayar for sekian lama because of the concession period entah berapa belas tahun. Okay lah, fine, we okay with that. Tapi sekarang dah 25 tahun kita tak
dah bayar lagi.
Bayar lagi.
Tak habis-habis.
So this is where there is a common denominator. People don't like all this. So when it comes election time, orang Malaysia ni dia ni sabar, they don't kick up a fuss, but when it comes to election time, then they show their dislike. So that is what is happening now. Nobody, I hope that the political parties who are listening to this, no single party is ever going to win any large block of parliamentary seats anymore. You will not do it. You will not get it done unless you deliver to the people what they need, not what you think is the best for them. You have to deliver to the people what they need, what they think is urgent and good for them. Then you may win more seats and have one single block who can form the government. Kalau tidak, it's going to be horse trading. Tak tahu besok negeri belah ni belot ke, kawan sebelah tu melompat ke. It's going to be like that for the next I don't know how many years lah. Even now, this present situation now, we are hearing rumours every other day lah. Kita ni banyak rumours kan. But no smoke without fire lah.
Ya, memang. Dan kita akan dengar lepas Dubai move, akan ada dengar lagi move lain lah. Syed Ali move. Tak ada. Jadi ia ni yang menjadi punca tidak stabil. Sebab political party kita, they do not ada controlling block.
And they won't get it.
They won't get it.
Because they're not delivering.
They're not delivering. Jadi tak tahulah sekarang ni prospek yang untuk kita harapkan untuk pilihan raya 2027. Okay. 2027 ni 2 tahun setengah lagi. So, what do we do? Macam kita rakyat ni. Kita dah bosan dengan semua parti ni. Kita pun tak tahu apa nak buat. Adakah prospek, for example, that smaller parties, newer parties timbul?
I mean, the more the merrier lah. It's a free country. So far, there's no restriction. Siapa nak buat parti, or siapa nak become a pressure group, or want to exert influence on public opinion, they are welcome to. Just about last week, about 2 weeks ago, I was invited by a group of people. I won't mention their name lah, but they have set up an NGO. These are quite senior people, so they have set up an NGO. They want to raise up the issues that we are talking about. Clean government, transparency, corruption, education development. How many resources education, all that. So they are saying we can't wait for the 5 years. We have to do something now, and we're going to organize talks, organize seminar. We have each of them. Adalah seorang tu is a chairman of some association, seorang tu NGO connection network, all this ada. So I told them go ahead, because at the end of the day, kalau kita democratic society, kita ada freedom of speech. Never underestimate the power of the individual voice.
Yes.
And never underestimate the power of the collective voice of the community. Kalau ada 50 orang bersuara and they say the same thing, kalau 100 orang bersuara they say the same thing, that will have an impact in a society, and the politicians must better be aware of this. So for us, that's what we can do as a democratic society, free society. We are law abiding. We use the space that we have, like now we are talking on this podcast, to voice our opinion, and hopefully everybody hears, not just the government, the voter also will hear. So we have to voice our opinion, we have to speak up, and then wait for the election. We cannot expedite that process. So our system is every 5 years. We cannot expedite that process.